This is just a little chit chat about becoming a paralegal, things that I wish I would have done differently as a paralegal, etc., etc. I have been in the paralegal profession now for almost 20 years. Just got off work today. It was really a Monday, I can tell you that. But in any event, I was like, let me see if I can help somebody who may want to be in the paralegal profession, maybe looking to get out of the paralegal profession, or they're in the paralegal profession and just need some advice, or would like to be able to kind of feel like they're not alone. First, let me say again, I've been a paralegal for almost 20 years, almost 18 at one firm that I'm at now, and almost 2 at another firm right when I graduated from paralegal certification school. And that's probably like my first thing I'm going to talk about. I'm glad that I went to get my paralegal certification after my 4-year degree at Georgia Southern University. Go Eagles. I went, I think it was straight after I graduated, or maybe like 6 months after I graduated, something like that, but it was close. I didn't have a huge gap in between, and I'm glad that I did that because number one, they have to pay you more when you have a 4-year degree, justice studies, or they sometimes call it criminal justice. And if you have a paralegal certification, yes, it's just a piece of paper, but that piece of paper can get you started off at a little bit more money, especially these days. Who doesn't want a little bit more money? And number two, with me being at one firm for 18 years, I wish I would have continued to reevaluate every 5 years, only because sometimes that can pigeonhole you into one type of law or one type of boss, and you may want to experience more than one person. You just may want to experience more than one person. And I do believe changing jobs sometimes is good. Some people say it's great to kind of stay at the same place, but sometimes it's good to move around and you can figure out exactly what you want for the long term. I just happen to stay at my job. The circumstances just happen like that, and I will be there March 2024 for 18 years doing workers' comp. And I do wish I would have tried to do another type of law. I did kind of look into Social Security because it kind of goes hand in hand, but I was never officially trained on it. But I did have my mentor there who would show me how to do some Social Security cases, and I probably could do it if I really try, because it's very form driven, just like my type of law, which is workers' comp. That is what I do. I think I mentioned that before, but in any event. Another thing that people need to know before you even go into the paralegal profession, it's more than just an office job. It is an office job, but especially depending on what type of law you do, it can be very, very demanding. Not only do you have to know the actual, work, what form to send, when to send it, those pretty basic things, you have to deal with a number of people, especially in workers' comp. That's the only thing I can really speak on, especially workers' comp, because those people are injured. They either need money, they either need a doctor's appointment, they sometimes need a therapist, literally a therapist, and sometimes you become that therapist because they will call you with all their issues. For some reason, a lot of clients don't like calling the attorney, usually because you can get to the paralegal easier, and most of the time you can get a full answer. Sometimes attorneys may not give full answers because either they have to be out of the office, they have to meet with another attorney, or they have to go to a hearing or something like that. So you're there, you're that defense when they're not in the office and not able to answer a question. You're the one that steps in and pretty much does everything except for practice law, because that would be the unauthorized practice of law. Always say this is not a legal opinion, but sometimes people just need someone to talk to. Sometimes they just need something done right then. They don't have time to wait till the attorney's back in the office next week, and you pretty much will know about 99% more of what's going on with the case from day to day than the attorney, because that's your purpose. But I think that's about it. Yeah, I just jotted down a few things, and I just really want to wish everybody who is a paralegal a happy National Paralegal Day to you, and let you know how important you are, because if attorneys didn't have us, they would have a pretty tough job. And I feel like we kind of fill in when we need to fill in. We're almost like baby attorneys, but again, I can't say that. Unauthorized practice of law. Don't want to get sued. Well, your firm doesn't want to get sued because you don't have a license, so you won't be sued. But in any event, just to recap, if you decide to go into the paralegal profession, always maybe practice one or two different areas of law if you can. If it's feasible, maybe move to another office, in 5 years or 10 years, to see if that's what you want to do. I'm on the plaintiff side, which is a little bit different from the defendant side, because on defense, they deal mostly with insurance companies. Plaintiffs, speaking in workers' comp, deal mostly with the client. And that can be pretty tough sometimes because, of course, their issue is big to them. You're used to seeing these issues all the time. So it's like, okay, I care, but everybody who's calling me today has the same issue. And you have to kind of bounce between, but you also have to have empathy for them because they are hurt. They do need your help, and that is your job. So you kind of have to grit your teeth and bear it. It can be overwhelming at times. If you are like the lead paralegal, if your firm even has more than one paralegal for your area of law, but that can be overwhelming. But it's balanced, and if you need to go outside and breathe, just go outside and breathe, and realize that you can't help everybody in the same day because you only have 8 to maybe 10 hours to do your work. And it seems like a lot of time, but it's not once you stay on the phone with several people, do several briefs, do, several letters, meet with clients, take in new clients. And even though I say that it's hard, a lot of people say, well, why in the world would I want to be a paralegal? It's very rewarding at the end of the day, especially if you work on the plaintiff's side. For every 20 clients, you might have one that say thank you, but it actually makes you feel better because you did help this person. Even when the cases are going on and, they're in between, maybe in between jobs because they have to stop working, or really having a hard time with medical treatment, even having a hard time at home, because a lot of them have a hard time at home because they're not used to not working. You become that person they come to, even when they can't go to their wives or their husbands or their friends or their other family. You become that person that they kind of depend on. It is a lot of weight, so you have to have a certain personality to be able to do it, especially as long as 20 years. But I think it's a calling. It's just not something you do, because especially if you're going to be in it in the long term, it's kind of like something you have to answer a call to be like, especially a plaintiff's paralegal, because you do have to have a level of empathy to deal with people, and a level of just knowledge and what's to get the best outcome for your client. But again, happy National Paralegal Day. And if you decide you want to be paralegal or need some help or have any questions, put them below in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Have a good day. Bye.